And then I'll just start. Cool. So hello, everyone. I'm Emily Bauman. I'm the editor-in-chief of your student news magazine, the VanCougar. With the shutdown of campus, cancellation of spring break, and students being less connected with WSUV, serving as the watchdogs of campus, essentially, we thought it would be great to interview ASWSUV and give them the opportunity to announce their strategic plan. Students a chance to have their questions answered. So I'm just going to introduce the rest of my staff here. Brody, if you want to introduce yourself.
I'm Brody Vogue. I'm the managing editor.
Okay, and then Olivia.
I'm Olivia Eldridge, and I am a copy editor and reporter.
And then Tessa.
I'm Tessa Hensley, also dressed as Finn the Human today, and I'm a reporter.
And then Lily.
I'm Lily Parr, and I'm also a reporter.
And then Mando, if you want to take it from there.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Emily, and it's a pleasure to be here with all the reporters from the VanCougar magazine. My name is Mando, and I have the privilege to be the ASWSUV student body president here at WC Vancouver. It's a great honor, and then I'm just going to throw it over to Evans, the VP, to introduce himself real quick.
Hello everyone, my name is Evans Kame, and I am the ASWSUV vice president. And I'm really honored to have a press conference with the rest of the team and the VanCougar team. So thank you so much for being here with us and for our students.
Thank you so much, Evans. And then if we can do the executive staff, Michelle and then Thomas.
Oh. Hi, I'm Michelle Lowry, and I am your, community and campus outreach coordinator. And I'm having issues. Okay, there we go. So good morning. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Name's Thomas Spencer, Director of Legislative Affairs for ASWSUV.
And then if we wanted to do the senators.
Hi, I'm Jack Curtis. I serve on the Senate and also External Affairs Committee Chair as well. So nice to meet you all.
Hello, I'm the Taegan Lee and also as WSUB Senator, also the chair of the Internal Affairs Committee in the ASWSUB. Nice to meet you all.
Hi, I'm Truffle. I work with Evans and Mondo. I'm a senator, and it's nice to be here with everyone.
And then I just saw that we had another executive staff join. So Thomas Holtzlander, would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh no, I have to speak? Yeah, it's fine. Tom Holtzlander, Internal Director of Legislative Affairs.
Awesome. And then we have a judicial board member with us as well.
Morning, everybody. Can you hear me all right? Okay, perfect. My Zoom's kind of shaky over here. I'm on the judicial board. My name is Austin Sobernagel, and I'm looking forward to having this meeting with you guys.
Thank you so much. And for those of you who might not know, ASWSUV is the student body government here at WC Vancouver. We're comprised of like 25 people. And as you can imagine, this semester has been very busy. So many of our staff are out in classes or at another job or other things like that. So we are going to be here to answer your questions, and we're really looking forward to it.
Awesome. So I don't know if I already said this, but when we're asking questions, senators, vice president, anybody except for Mando, if you want to feel free to just pop in and add something or whatever, feel free to do that. Mando, did you want to introduce your strategic plan?
Yes, I would be a privilege to introduce my strategic plan, and then I'm just going to screen share really quickly. So earlier this year, Evans and I knew we needed to create something that was going to help guide us in what we did and how we did it. So we created this strategic plan, and we shaped it very much similar to the Washington State University strategic plan, but we really made it focus just on students and students' needs. And we were able to identify 5 areas in which that we could actively participate and have active initiatives to help solve. And these areas include mental and physical health, food insecurities, social equality, sustainability, and cultivating community engagement. And ASWSUV really saw these 5 areas as things that we needed to improve on our campus. And we've listed some bullet points on initiatives that we've started and are gonna start, but really it comes down to making sure the students feel connected to our campus, making sure the students feel that they understand and know the resources and opportunities that are available to them, as well as making sure that they feel supported by our campus. And that begins with having a good community and engagement. So we've hosted different events, and this press conference is one of the ones that we're really excited for, to be able to communicate with our students. And we also started the OSI Involvement Boxes, which is a monthly box which is designed to replace events and have a lot of fun events and activities inside of the box. Sustainability is really a passion of ours, and we really want to make sure our campus is green, and we do everything we can to make sure that the environment is taken care of. So we've created an environmental committee, and we have a social media campaign going up in April about how to be green. And social equality is also a very important aspect of student life right now, and all life. And we're partnering with the Central of Intercultural Learning and Affirmation, and we plan on hosting different events on social equality. Food insecurities is a huge one now that the pandemic has hit us all, and we all have lots of jobs and are at home more, so we eat more. So we're really partnering with the food bank on our campus, and we're going to volunteer to create Thanksgiving boxes for the month of November, and we're planning on doing some more really fun ways to support them. So stay tuned about that. And then over the summer, we created a program called OSI Care Packages, which was a monthly pickup box of supplies that range from food, hygienic supplies, shampoo, conditioner, produce, vegetables. And we were able to give out 1,000 boxes through the duration of about 4 months. And it was a really awesome time, and it was a really great way to help our students. And mental and physical health, I don't think, and it bears me bringing it up again, but we're all struggling this semester with everything that's given up. So we've created a health survey to really understand the needs of our students. And from that survey, we're going to actively act on what the students need. And we have general printouts of self-care and resources on our aswcv.info website. And that's just a brief overview of our strategic plan.
Great. So I'm going to hand it off to the reporters, and we're going to just start asking questions for you. Cool.
Yeah, so I'll be asking the first question. So if we could just hear from some of you, why did you decide to be involved in student government?
Who wants to go first?
I'll share because Monda always likes to talk so much. No, sharing. It's actually my first semester at WSUV, so I thought it would look a little bit differently when I went into student government. But one thing that I have learned is it really is a way to feel connected, and it has helped me kind of stay motivated within my classes because it's hard to really understand. I have nothing to compare it to. So I didn't get that life on campus, and I came from Clark College, so I got that aspect of it, but it's so much bigger and different here. And so it's really helped me grow to start a community when I probably wouldn't have felt as connected or in the loop of things going on campus. So I'm really grateful to have this team and this opportunity to be a part of it.
Evan, your mic off. Oh, perfect.
So it's my final year ASWSUV. I wanted to kind of seize upon a unique opportunity. In the spring, I'll be going up to Olympia and representing the whole campus. So yeah, no, it's great. I wanted to kind of make a difference. And what better way than to do it on kind of a macro scale. Tom Holtzlander and I are also working on stuff on campus as well. So it's both a local and statewide deal. So yeah.
So I think we generally, as the student leaders, do have passion behind serving students or just serving community. And one of the aspects that I've been able to learn as a student leader is the opportunity to make a difference, just like Doma said, for the lives of students. And I experienced that when I was at Clark and I was part of the student leadership at Clark. So when I joined WSUV as a transfer student, it was part of my checklist to be part of the student government and continue that service to students. And I've been able to see that with my team and all other things when we'll be able to accomplish so far, and we're still hoping to accomplish more by the end of the year for the sake of the student. So the students are the epicenter of every reason that we exist as a student government, and we can never seize any opportunity other than to accomplish that.
Similar to what my colleague said, very much about the students, wanting to make an impact, change the campus for better, also challenge myself and push myself outside of my comfort zone to do different things that I might not be comfortable with. And I've really enjoyed the experience overall, and definitely just trying our best every day.
Awesome. Cool. So we can just move on to the next question since we've heard from some of you.
Yes, so for our next question, it's another introduction question. What is your previous experience with leadership before having joined ASWSUV?
So I had very little previous leadership experience. I was just a club president. I started my own club here at WC Vancouver, Fashion Club, and that's pretty much the extent of my leadership experience. But I would say that every day there's opportunities to be a leader and help out a community.
Yeah, I'm a transfer student. I was in student government last year, and I joined. I kind of got the bug when I first started in a club, and just took a vice president position there just to do it, and then got invited to join the student government, and that was my first opportunity. I really got the bug of being able to sit in on meetings, and you always hear we're a student voice, we're a voice of the students, but that's really true when you're sitting in on meetings with just the faculty and staff. They really do need to hear what's going on because they don't know. I mean, we all assume everybody knows, but having us there to let them know what the students are saying. I really enjoyed talking to students. Walking around campus was really nice at the time. It doesn't happen as much now, but being able to walk around and just strike up a conversation and hear somebody say something about like a doorknob not working. I mean, little stuff like that. If nobody says anything, it won't get fixed, but they do want to fix that. That was the thing that I learned, that the faculty and staff were really there to make us successful. It sometimes kind of feels like a fight, with your teacher, and you're kind of upset that they're making you learn and do whatever. But really, they do. They really wanted us to learn. They wanted to hear what we had to say. When we sat in on meetings to make decisions, they listened to our decisions, and I really enjoyed that. And I really understood how important it was. When I went to Olympia last year, one of the senators, I forgot for which district, but he said, stay in government all the way through. We need more good people up here. I mean, that really resonated, where he said, we need more good people. Not that there's a lot of bad, but we do need all of us to keep this going and not forget what we're doing. We are a voice for the people that can't be there. So that's how I got into it, and I'm still here, and I'll probably stay doing this for a while.
I was a transfer student as well. I was VP at ASWSUV, which is the community college in Longview. I've been a club president before. I've worked many different jobs, and just learning how to work with people, delegate tasks, and be delegated tasks is all kind of what leadership is about. Is working with a lot of different people, a lot of different inputs and opinions and stuff. So yeah.
So if I could tie the two really important things about experience from Jade's point of view, how many of you have heard, just by show of hand, the famous speech by Theodore Roosevelt, Citizenship in a Republic, or The Man in the Arena? If you haven't, I really recommend listening to that speech. So in experience and leadership, it's all about sacrifice and taking a risk. You have to be this man in the arena that you just be able to get in there and participate and figure it out with other things. And the basic principle here, it's about learning and growing. We all make mistakes. No man is perfect in this planet. That said, we can make mistakes and learn from them. And from my point of view, I've failed so much in leadership in every experience that I've had. And I've grown from those mistakes. And I've grown from so many things that I've learned from my team, and I've learned from my peers. And that's what I believe it's the most important thing when it comes to experience and leadership. And that specific speech that Theodore Roosevelt gave decades of years ago resonate with every single student leader in this room, and I really recommend listening to it. So
Okay, usually I don't think anybody wants to follow after Evans because he's very inspirational. And I had experience at Clark College with PTK Honor Society, and I just really love to interact with people and do events. And with my connections there, had someone reach out to me for this position that they thought that I would thrive in. And it has given me like just a different side to more of the procedures that are taking place on campus. And like a couple of people have mentioned, we do, if we don't show up and say what we need to say, like we can't be represented. So if you need to, show up and say something and know, or for me, because I like to talk, talking for those people that, and having a voice for those people that are like too timid or scared to say something, or, they might be really passionate about something, but, it's hard for them to come to a meeting, or they feel uncomfortable. So kind of giving them the courage and advice and being the voice for them as well. So.
Awesome. So I'm just gonna interrupt here real quick, just so we can get to our questions. We kind of already talked about your 5 goals for the strategic plan. So Tessa, if you wanted to just ask question number 4 for me.
Yes, I would love to. And great answers so far, you guys. If like this is going really well. But so this next question is more toward the strategic plan. But what will you do to ensure your goals are met?
That is an excellent question, and Evans and I ask ourselves that every day. So first off, we make it our #1 priority, and we make that our guiding compass and our promise to students. And just recently, we've actually broken up ASWSUV into smaller subsections of groups who are dedicated to solve one specific aspect of the strategic plan. For example, we have Truffle on the environment sustainability aspect, and he's also in the environmental committee. Very passionate about that. We have the 2 Toms being related to physical and mental health, and it's really because it's something that they're passionate about also. So we really wanted to make sure that the ASWCV members chose a specific aspect that they're passionate about and help achieve the goals in that. And then we have specific groups who are targeting and start initiatives regarding that one aspect. And then at the end of the year, of course, we'll sit down and say, did we accomplish it? What more could we have done? What did we do?
Awesome answer. So I guess Lily, can you take the next question?
Yeah, for sure. So how will ASWSUV be keeping a check on themselves to ensure that they are meeting the goals that they set out for themselves, those 5 strategic plan goals?
Yeah, like I previously brought up, always checking in with ourselves and making sure we are working on initiatives that are related to that strategic plan. And also being flexible. If we've noticed that there's another need, being able to say, okay, let's replace this one and put this need in because it's a most pressing need for our students. And really just trying to connect with those students and making sure they feel that they're being supported by us. And at the end of the day, if they feel that they're being supported by us, we're doing our job successfully.
Okay, and then we have Olivia.
Yeah, so this question is also in regard to the strategic plan and for senators, or I guess open to anybody. What motions are you taking as leaders or senators or other positions with student government to directly improve ASWCV as an organization?
We have 2 aspects, and I will let the senators talk about the Senate, and then I'll let an executive staff talk about the executive staff.
So at the moment we have like a few projects in the air that are like directly focused on student engagement, but like specifically on recreating our own rules. Like we're trying to, like one of our biggest projects is rewrite all the bylaws to like clarify any of the rules or regulations placed by the bylaws to better, can't find a word for it, to like basically help other senators in the future when they get on, because it's a very tough process at the beginning of a semester to get like sorted, the team going. And this year we had a pretty great team.
So okay, go ahead, Jade, then I can wrap.
No, you might. I was just saying with the whole not being on campus anymore, there's a switch that we can't just go on with what we've always done, especially with student funds, the funds that we put in, how we use those funds. A lot of times we can use the money that we all give into the big pool of money to spend to to have activities on campus, the little snacks. I don't know if it was Truffle who was talking about the idea of maybe figuring out what to do, maybe with more help of the loaner laptop programs, or to do something with the funds to help students. So that's one of the things that has kind of shifted. Instead of being able to ride the coattails of all the previous senators and executives, it's a new change, and so we were talking about that. So it's kind of neat that you're all here. So if you have any ideas, we're always more than welcome to have you show up at the meetings and listen in and talk to and engage. Let us know what you think. If not, it's just the same group of us sitting around talking about it. So having this together right now with you all having us here is fantastic. This is great. This is what I miss about being on campus instead of having a impromptu get together with people sitting at the quad or whatever. But now we can do this. So yeah, show up at the meeting, talk to us. We'll come up with ideas together.
So we are at brainstorming session right now in terms of every single aspect of the strategic plan, because I want to just give a great thanks to the strategic plan committee and the communication committee, because they worked so hard to make sure that this strategic plan is now in its exclusive way that it is, and it's objective, it's persuasive, and it's doable, and gives us a more direction. So, and every single senator. So when we began the Senate, we only had 5 senators, and about 6 6 weeks to 5 weeks later, after the special election, we had a full team of the Senate. So we had 6 new more senators, and that energy gave us a new sense of moving forward and making sure that almost all the initiatives that we're working on are going well. So given that we are working on a brainstorming session right now, we don't have one specific motion that we're going to nail down, but we hope between now and the next 3 or 4 weeks, we will have tangible things. And as Trafford said, one of the most important things that we want to do right now is to have a legacy for the next senators. And that's a really important thing, I think, for be a part of what we are working on in the Senate. So, yeah.
Armando, maybe you could talk about the book fund, or would that be a part of it?
Yeah, so that goes along with initiatives that we're trying to start to give students tangible things. And Evans and I are working on ways to make textbooks more accessible to students. And we have a little bit more to go, but we're feeling pretty confident in the new direction that we're taking. Also working with the food pantry and making sure that they have resources outside of just food, you know, pots and pans, blankets, diapers, and different things like that. We saw the full semester as very much set up, since we had a long way to go and this was never been done before. So we had to shift everything that we've done and that we've typically do. And then our spring semester is really us tackling everything. And really, now that we have a better understanding of what it's like being a leader virtually, we feel really confident in the direction we're heading.
Can I just add something? I've never heard of this textbook fund thing. I think that's really interesting. What are your guys' plans for that? Because I know textbook costs are a big problem for students.
Yeah, absolutely. So our plans are to secure some funds to ensure that there are a fund of allocation that students can get to be able to afford books. And those some few areas that Evans and I have to go over and go prove, but we've been spending a lot of time on that. And there's different directions that we're heading. But in essential, it's going to make it so students have easier time accessing textbooks for their classes.
Awesome. If anybody doesn't have anything else to add with the senators and the executive staff, we'll move on to questions about spring break. I'm sure everybody's kind of waiting for this one. So Tessa, if you want to take that question.
All right, this one's pretty simple, everyone. Are you for or against the cancellation of spring break?
As a student, I very much was expecting that week-long break to give my mind a rest and just to make sure that I have some time to breathe. So it's very unfortunate that I don't have a spring break this spring. So I would say I am not for it.
Oh, Armando, maybe you want to mention about the conversations that we're going to try to have with the professors about maybe the week looking a little different. So yeah, we all want a spring break, but at least we're knowing now rather than right before it happens, so we can kind of mentally prepare for that, and maybe think of some activities we can do during that time, and then making those conversations with professors to maybe be able to not have stuff due right away when we would normally be taking a break, and just being more mindful of our time, and that that we need to take time for self-care as well, but I think it's nice that we have the answers now, because I think going into fall, we had really high hopes of just like everything being back to normal and everything's fine, and we're just getting that information quicker now, and it's easier to prepare, I think, for myself and our team to prepare for that, so we can be more available for people that need us.
And Michelle, you did such a good way of summarizing it. So from all different campuses fought hard to make sure that the decision didn't happen. And that was apparent through the letter we posted on our social media sites and the meetings we had in the backgrounds. But now that the decision has been made, our focus now is to make sure our students' mental health for next semester is secure and adequate enough to make it so we can even finish all time here at WSU. So we're working close with the administration and seeing what we can do to implement different days of fully like synchronized, so you don't necessarily have to show up to a Zoom class for a week, but rather you can just watch a recording or something like that. And then there's some proposals going in to make it so we have similar to last semester, how we had a pass fail option, but this one it's going to be not recorded COVID, and that gets voted on the Senate faculty on the 7th of November, along with seeing if faculty and professors will make it so the days after or 1 day academic breaks we get each month in replacement to spring breaks, those no assignments due. So that kind of can help alleviate the stresses, but nothing at the end of the day is going to replace that week-long break of just relaxation.
Okay, this might be more of a question towards the chancellor, but I have left it in here to see if you have an answer. Lily, could you ask this question?
Yeah, so could you explain to our students why WSU Vancouver has to follow the Pullman campus in their decision to cancel spring break?
That was my number one question as well, and that's what I asked. I was like, hey, why do we have to follow what Pullman does? It seems very Pullman centric, and it was acknowledged that the decision is very Pullman centric. And essentially the WSU is a system, and we're integrated so heavily in different areas such as classes. So WSU Vancouver relies on different campuses to teach classes, and WSU Vancouver teaches classes for different campuses. So at the end of the day, since we're a huge organization of integrated classes and systems and procedures, what one campus does, and typically the bigger campus, most often affects all the other campuses. And I've requested a meeting with all the chancellors and all the presidents and all that stuff to really get a better understanding of what areas the system is integrated and what areas the system is free to do what different campuses would like.
Yeah, there was a question sent in. I'm pretty sure we have covered this. It was what was the decision process that led faculty to decide to have no spring break, just to clarify. And that's basically because WSU Vancouver has to follow in suit of Pullman because some students are taking Pullman classes and that affects the schedule. Is that correct?
In summary, yeah. And then the process to try to get this approved was very lacking student input, and it was spearheaded by mainly Pullman administrations who are concerned about spring break and the potential of their campuses leaving, or those students on their campus leaving the campus and coming back and increasing COVID cases. And it was approved by the faculty senate without student input.
Okay, I believe Lily goes next. Correct me if I'm wrong. But can you ask question number 9?
Yeah, I can do that. So how are you addressing students who are worried about their mental health when dealing with no break? You spoke about this a little bit, you as a student, Mondo. So like you recognize the extreme stress that this could cause for some students. So how are you addressing that to the entire community?
So we started with gathering a list of student voices, and we proudly handed that list to administration. And I must say there was not one student comment in favor on that list, and that we were doing our jobs in making sure the administration heard the students' voices. And like I said, now it's reactive mode. So we're working on different ways to make sure our students have stress reliefs next semesters through those areas with academics, but also through areas of student engagement. We have an OSI box each month, and we're focusing on making them stress-free or different fun-related activities. We have mental health resources on our campus, and that's another huge one, is connecting students with the mental health resources we have on our campus, like the free telecom counseling, or also just free basic healthcare. Both are great ways to ensure that you have a good health and sanity, and encouraging students to get involved, because when you get involved, you feel very isolated just sitting on a Zoom meeting every day in class and whatnot. But when you get involved and join different clubs and organizations, you start making new connections, and you can just talk about how much this year sucked with other students and make friends. And that honestly helps out a lot.
Awesome. Go ahead.
I just want to add something as well. So Mondo mentioned that Tom and I are on kind of the mental health committee or task force, whatever you would like to call it. Especially with the whole issue of spring break, that makes our whole kind of research discovery process more important. We did put out a mental health survey. It's kind of a base to get kind of gauge students on what they need, if there's anything that comes to their mind, if they're even aware of the resources that are available to them. In conversations with the Wellness Center, is that we seem to have an underutilization of our resources. And so that's part of our challenge, is trying to figure out how to connect students with those resources. So they exist. But we also recognize that students have Zoom fatigue. You don't want to do classes all day and then in the afternoon or evening sit down for another Zoom conversation. So we're trying to look around, find other resources. Yeah, and I'll say that we're not the only campus dealing with this. It's a state issue, it's a national issue. We've had conversations with other universities about it. So yeah, we're not alone, and it's definitely an ongoing process for us trying to figure out what to do next.
Should we mention the resource card that we have put together a list of resources that are available to us, and we'll be sending out a postcard with those resources listed on it. So you kind of can see the whole thing, is how to get connected easier just by like having that card and just knowing like how many resources we do have available. And their cost, is free. It's just trying to get that information out there and available so when people need it. And us putting together even our Zoom meetup times, and just knowing that we're there every day, just waiting for you to come in and ask us any kind of question, and just kind of breaking down that barrier of just being comfortable to come talk to us. You don't necessarily have have to have your video in, or you can send us a question. We're ready and willing to help anyone.
Awesome. So if nobody has anything to add to that, that's all great information to know about the mental health resources and how you guys are keeping up with that. So that's appreciated. The last question I have for the spring break is the decision set in stone? And we've established that it is. And then we also just had a in the chat here. I believe that's their website, correct?
So fun fact, we've created a Zoom office for students to come in from 8 to 5, Monday through Thursday. And that's where we typically operate all of our office hours, and we work on initiatives together. But it's also a place for students to come in and talk to us and get connected.
Sorry, I didn't see the Zoom room, but now I clearly see that. Thank you for clarifying. So yeah, the last question was, is this decision set in stone, which we've established it is. I would like to did you have something to say, Michelle?
No, I just think I was going to mention just like our website that is also running because of the lack of the Coug. We're working on the Coug presence, but we had the Coug Connect before. So, there was a lot of barriers of us just trying to figure out ways that we can be more connected with the student body. So we had that hurdle to kind of overcome. besides, it's just, for me, I thrive face to face, but, trying to figure out ways of having that availability, with your schedule in mind. Everybody's schedule is different. No two schedules are the same. And to just know that we are here and we're still ready to serve, even though we're at home.
Awesome. Yeah, that's also a great resource. And especially, I feel like it's going to kind of put the information out there more for people to see it. So with the spring break cancellation, I just want to do a quick plug here. Olivia, our reporter, is writing a story about the spring break cancellation. She will be interviewing Mel, the chancellor. So keep an eye out for that, because then we will get like all the answers that we need for that. Moving on, I'm pretty sure Olivia is going to be asking this question. We're moving on to the topic of the cafeteria shutdown.
Yes, thank you, Emily. So our question regarding the cafeteria shutdown, obviously due to the COVID-19 pandemic, do you support the closing of the cafeteria, and why? I've heard based on consensus that it has been, sort of a struggle for students not having that access to the cafeteria and food resources on campus. So do you support essentially the shutting down of the cafeteria?
So I used to work in the cafeteria. It was my first big job, if you will. And then I got it my freshman year, and I worked on the cafeteria for 2 years. So I got to see the amazing community that area cultivated, and the amazing staff and the options for students to have a job and be employed through it. But I also got to see the other sides of it, of extremely, I'm not going to say mismanagement, but it was not profitable at all. And because it wasn't profitable, all the money that was in red had to be subsidized by students' money and other money. And at the end of the day, all that just hurts all students, because that money could have gone to other programs that could benefit them more. So I see some hope in the fact that it's closed right now, and then they're working on getting a new vendor in there and reshaping the system of how we get food on campus. And hopefully, and I know we'll have some input on that, and we can make sure that the students' concerns of, not being open enough, not providing enough healthy options, it's still keeping that community aspect. We can provide those concerns, so when they open up the new cafeteria or whatever they're thinking of, they can have that information.
Awesome. So we're just going to move on. Speaking of food insecurity, Tessa, can you ask question number 14 for me, please?
Yes. So moving on to question 14. How are you going to make sure your food security initiatives are accessible to students that need food assistance?
So we've worked so close with the food pantry on our campus, and Kyle, the student local who oversees the food pantry, is really close with us as well. And it starts with making sure the students know that it's there. And we've also changed the typical rules. So there's no limit of how many times you can sign up for a box. If you need it 2 times a week, you can sign up for it 2 times a week. If you need it every week of the month, you can sign up for it every week of the month. Increasing the funds, the food pantry has gotten significant funds from our community and donors that really helps ensure that every student has food, as well as making sure it's COVID friendly. Typically you could come in and pick out and do a little shopping, but now it's all done no contact, so it's all an application on the website. And along those lines, making sure that we expand the resources there that we were talking about earlier too, because students are in need of more than food. Every aspect we need, like I was talking earlier, the diapers, pots and pans, phone chargers, blankets. So making sure that they have access, and working with ASWSUV to expand what they're typically able to offer for students.
Okay, and then just moving on to just one last additional question. Lily, if you want to ask question number 15.
Yeah, so is there a place for students to give you feedback on your initiatives? Like, is there a place on the website or anything similar to that where they can tell you their thoughts on what you guys have been doing so far? And would you consider their feedback as it comes in?
Absolutely. What we do is all centered for the students. So if they're saying we're doing it wrong, then we'll switch it up. If they're saying we need to focus on another area, we'll add that area into our strategic plan. Currently, there's no set box on our website for feedback on the strategic plan. However, due to the Zoom office link that we've created and just always being accessible on social media, we see those as viable ways to stay in contact with with our students. But it's definitely worth leaving a specific box on our website saying how we doing on our strategic plan.
Awesome. So with that, I think that's kind of the end for our questions. I did want to kind of do a quick plug and just say that our November issue is coming out Monday on stands. You can find it outside on campus, or you can subscribe to our mail subscription at thevancougar.com in our subscription page, as well as the newswire. And I appreciate all of the Senate and ASWSUV staff for coming and taking the time to answer students' concerns and questions. Mando, is there anything else that you wanted to add, or any of the staff that wanted to add to this conversation?
Just a thank you to you all. You've all done such an amazing job this year, making sure our students are informed on what's happening and the decisions and stories about different students that we might not be able to hear. So thank you all so much for all you do and reaching out to us to set this up. I really enjoyed it.
Awesome. Well, with that, I think that concludes our conference.
Are there any student questions?
We have not had any come in at the moment, just that one. So I think
I just kind of wanted to add something. I actually connected with Tessa for an interview on the OSI box, and that you guys might be struggling too, just to kind of reach out to students. And you know, we need to hear their opinions, but it's also hard to get those opinions. And so I know with our advertising, we actually got to advertise on Facebook, so we're trying to reach more people and just trying to connect. So you know, if you guys need any information, feel free to like contact us and get a hold of us, because we have no problem, you know, sharing our information, because we all have different stories that we have shared and just different aspects of where we're at, you know, first-time students, people that are graduating. You know, I'm a parent, so I deal with different, you know, stuff at home compared to others. And, you know, just using this connection any way you can, or if you need, and, you know, to know that we're all here for each other and we're doing awesome.
absolutely. Thank you so much for that extension.
I like your costume, by the way, Michelle. Halloween.